Today is a very special day because KTM Philippines invited us for a track day and the launch of their new RC200. This will be my first time to actually ride on a track. And be sure to stick till the end of the video because I'll be doing a quick feature on the new RC200 by KTM. See you guys there. Nice. I think that's a KTM Duke 790. For sure I will see that bike again later. Alright, so we will be doing a very quick review of the bike, but for now, let's just talk about all the changes with this RC200 compared to the older version. So for starters, obviously the biggest change is yung overall look. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but this bike is inspired by the KTM RC16. So it's a MotoGP bike, and you can tell by the enlarged fairings and this new hood that I will talk about later. So first things first, this is completely new. So everything else is different aside from this 200cc engine that the previous RC200 Duke had. So it outputs the exact same amount of torque and power, but this was mapped differently, so it sounds different, partially because the pipe is now located underneath, just like with my Husqvarna Zwartpellen 200. So the 2022 RC now shares a lot of common parts with my Husqvarna Zwartpellen. The bike overall is lighter by 3 kilograms compared to the older generation, and it's partially because of the lightweight mag. So we now have a Star Designs 5-spoke mags with the same exact rubbers. We also have a sleeker and longer mudguard here, and the fork is the same with the Husqvarna as well. And another thing that's different is the curved radiator, and then paired with this bigger radiator is also a bigger airbox. And then moving up here, we have a different set of clip-ons. This one is adjustable. You can move it up or downwards depending on your riding position. This one is maxed all the way up for comfort, and you can move it a few more inches down if you want to take it to the track. This is like a 3-piece clip-ons, so you can adjust each handlebar independently, unlike with the older generation RC clip-ons. So this is a really welcome change. And then moving on to the front, we have this massive windshield. So it wraps around all the way from the headlights up till here. And it has this really nice pattern that's embossed in the plastic that gives it a more modern look. Pair that with this LED DRLs and LED turn signals. Sadly, we still have halogen bulbs. Overall, I'm really digging the GT-inspired cowl. It's less sporty, but I prefer this look than the older generation. Another thing that's new on this bike are the metal folding side mirrors. Well, this bike doesn't have it because this one will be used on the track, hence the side mirror delete and all this tape on the headlights and signal lights. But the side mirrors are of good quality, and you guys know me, I always complain about side mirrors, but this time around, if I personally own this bike, I would definitely keep those side mirrors on. So moving back to the main part of the bike again, like I said, almost everything here is different aside from the swing arm, the engine, and of course the underbelly muffler that before a lot of you guys complain about. It used to go through and inside the frame, so the heat often radiates to your thighs. Now they moved it all the way down, like with the Husqvarnas, which I think is the best position for this bike. Although it doesn't look as good, I still think it's better for our climate and our traffic conditions here. The front and rear shocks are still the same, so they still retain this part, but the rear section of the trellis frame is different, but it's also lighter. So overall, even though it has the same exact engine, this bike is still slightly faster than the previous generation because of the new mapping, bigger airbox, better aerodynamic, and an overall lighter frame. All those little things add up that makes this bike even better on the road and on the track. Performance-wise, this is better than my Zwartpellen 200. Although they have the exact same engine, I feel like this bike is faster on the track compared to my Zwartpellen. And then moving on to the rear, we have a new pair of seats. I think this is Alcantara, but it feels okay, nothing special. And unlike the older RC200, this one has a detachable rear seat. The older one had this really weird looking rear seat, so this one looks way nicer. Although I'm not a fan of this exposed keyhole because it kinda looks like an afterthought. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. But before we take it to the track, let's first sit on this RC200 and see how it feels. Seat height is at 820 millimeters. And then from the driver's perspective, the tank is now bigger at 13.7 liters compared to the previous 9.5 liters. And it makes the bike look way bigger. Plus, you can hug the tank much more comfortable now. So I guess it's safe to say that they've improved almost everything on this bike. And last but not the least, we have a new LCD display. It's not colored, but this is way better than the older RC. And you also have switchable ABS and Supermoto mode. Alright, so there you go. A very quick review on the new RC200 by KTM. And if you want to learn more about this bike, be sure to follow and subscribe to my channel for future updates and the full review on this bike soon. So yeah, what can I say? This bike is track ready. And that's pretty much it for me today here at the Batangas Racing Circuit. So thank you to KTM for inviting me on my first ever track day and experience on the new RC200. So congrats, and I'll see you guys in the next video.